Hey folks, Cody with IronVerse Comics here. I'll let the track go ahead and finish, but want to say howdy. Welcome everybody for coming. I don't know how long this one will go or too much, but we're gonna play it by ear. We'll keep on going. Yeah, I'll talk to you folks just momentarily. Doing a few more promotional runs. See if I can hurt some folks in here. Thank you again for being here. Be right back with you. Alright, here I am. Welcome everybody. Cody with IronVerse Comics. Bringing you another update. One finally with some good news. I ended up postponing yesterday's live stream till now, just in the hopes that I would have that good news. And I do. So, Jack number 2's proof I've got in my hands right now. It turned out great. Real fat book. It's 48 pages. Got some neat extras up in the back of there. 32 story pages. We got to attempt our first few double page spreads in this issue. There's 3 of them actually. They all came out really cool in print. The cover's been spoiled somewhat. I spoiled it to backers. I've spoiled it on this stream before, and so we're gonna see how that affects things. Last time with issue number 1, I kept the cover hidden until I saw the first picture of it posted online. It didn't seem to make too much of a difference, but it was kind of cool. I'm glad I tried it once, but I think from now on I got to leverage it for maximum promotion. Anywho, so I'm pretty damn excited. You can't tell. We tried a new color format, the way you're supposed to do it, that we weren't aware of with issue number 1. It doesn't ruin issue number 1 or anything, but it got on the nerves of at least the line artist, Maxi Dallo, a little bit. There's a right way to do them, and we didn't really pay attention to that the first time. This time we did, and I'm glad we did. Stephen Cannon's colors came out amazing in the print. I can't really show you. I don't have a camera attached to this, which is kind of annoying. I could see that being annoying to folks, but I also don't want to spoil too much of it. Paper quality is as good as issue number 1. It's a nice fat annual, old Marvel annual sized book. So it's got some heft to it too. If folks who got number 1 remember, the paper quality and the heft of issue number 1 was pretty neat. I think they actually might be a little bit lighter on this issue. The pages are turning better and they're not sticking like they did somewhat with the first printing of issue number 1. We'll see if that prevails in any further printings. But yeah, issue number 2 does not have that problem. I don't have the pages stick together as I'm turning. They're loose. They're not so rigid. And again, the colors came out great. I'm super excited. There's a few editing mistakes that made it into print that will probably bother me for as long as they're there. On any further printings, I might kick the team just to get those few little dents buffed out, because they're small, but they're all fixable, and I've got a good idea on how in most places. And there's only one that's kind of a wording I wish I would have caught before. But overall, I'm really excited to check out this book. A lot of love and passion goes into it. The art direction is killer. It's got a real personality. It's real moody. It's perfect. It was perfect for me to kind of bounce off of to get the to get the writing right where I wanted it. See how much folks enjoy it. But yeah, that's really the main big news around IronVerse. Besides, we're getting that much closer to the Cactus Coyote crowdfunding launch on July 29th on Indiegogo. We released an image of the first variant cover IronVerse Comics is going to offer. It was from Bridge of Faust. He's a very passionate artist, very aggressive lines, very kind of almost a graffiti style. I'm really proud of that piece. It's a wonderful piece that we've got. That'll be variant options on the campaign. I'm excited for the other bits. I'm not sure how much I can reveal on the campaign. I almost thought about going through the preview of the Go-Go with you folks tonight, but maybe I'll save that for closer to the campaign. But yeah, Jack number 2, it's there. Last I heard from Wicked also, I gave the go-ahead and should be printing pretty damn quickly. It's set up, so this was just waiting for the go-ahead. So hopefully the next update, which will be probably before Friday in this live stream, where I'll just I'll reiterate the updates of the week as I try to do. I will try my best to have a printing and shipping loose layout. I'm still gathering international addresses from folks, compiling that into a good list for Wicked, so we can kind of budget that out. That's a thing that needs to be tackled still. Really just making sure the domestic, anybody who's relocated informs me and lets us know so I can alter the shipping address. And I'm super excited to get these into folks' hands. I've been sitting on it for months now, hoping for some outside the team thoughts on what we put together. And we're almost there. We're almost there. And I'm really excited, really proud of what we put together. I'm hoping somebody will go through and kind of catch all the little Easter eggs. Some are comic culture, some are just science fiction culture. There's lots of references. I had a lot of fun working with Maxie's line art, and I think Maxie had a lot of fun working with my loose script. And with Steve Cannon and Vince Rush on letters, Steve Cannon on colors, Vince Rush on letters, we put something together that you couldn't get anywhere else. Something I don't think conventionally would be done, and I'm really hoping you folks dig it. I dig the hell out of it. There's so many pages in this that the colors next to each other blend, and I'm looking through it. It's the most beautiful apocalypse I've seen in comics. So it's some wonderful horror, some heavy themes, a fun punchline here and there. I'm hoping folks enjoy it. I really am. So hey, Dusk. Howdy. I'll go through chat. Let you guys know how appreciative I am for you being here. Thank you, HPG Wellscraft. OG, I've seen you around for a long time. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for supporting IronVerse Comics. Gorgonite Emissary, thank you so much again for showing up. Always Johnny on the spot with the questions, and always makes me feel entertaining, even if I'm not being so. Duskquill, thank you so much, my mod brother. We're here, yeah, finally, after all this time. Jack number 2's campaign's finally coming to a close, finally giving folks what they ordered, and hopefully more. I'm super excited for the extras we have planned. I'm not 100% sure on implementation, whether or not these extras will be going out with the issues or going out separately. That's another thing. There's more updates to come. There's more things to work out. But this was the biggest hitch we had for a little bit, was getting this printer proof to me and finally being able to see it and get it printed and such. I hate the worst thing in comic book production, and so far as I can tell in art production, is the wait time where it is out of your hands, where it's with others, and things can go wrong at that point if you're not on it constantly. Not everybody involved is on it constantly. That'll happen, especially with us newbies. Again, this is just the first 2 comic books I've ever been involved in creation of. I've also been involved in the creation of 1 manga. Hasn't been published yet, except for self-published. That's Cactus Coyote. You check that out on Tapas for free to read, just like Jack #1 if you folks are interested and haven't already seen it. Probably going to push that till the day folks stop being interested in Jack. So get used to it, folks, if you decide to stick around. Those are the most useful plugs I think I got. Just show them the work that we've done, and hopefully you enjoy it and stick around. So, I'm going to open up to questions if anybody has any. The printing proof process, anything about the process of getting Jack #2 done, anything about the creation process, any step of it. Jack #2 was the first time I had to do it in a quicker span of time. With Jack #1, we had the line art done a couple years ago, and just needed it printed and colored, re-lettered. And so that was a good, it eased me into comic production. But doing it from start to finish and catching everything and such, first time being an editor on something like this, and at least I know I needed a couple more weeks in the oven to catch some things, just doing it myself. Now, I think I'm going to try harder on future efforts to kick it around Team IronVerse Comics a little bit harder and make sure everybody kind of takes a look, because a fresh pair of eyes can make all the difference when editing. Let's see. Duskquill. That's what I hit with job hunts, the weights. Yeah. Yeah, I had that a few times. Clothing sports shop I was going to try and work at was one of those. It's annoying, but you just keep on trucking. If you don't hear anything quick enough, they probably don't want you. So it's not hard to tell. And thank goodness folks have pretty much entirely. I've only had one refund in the last like 6 months, and it was only a couple months ago. And that's a hell of a lot of dedication I appreciate from our folks who I've been trying to keep updated, but keeping updated isn't what they pay for. They pay for the books. So let's get them their product. That's what I want to do. Let me see. But hey, I'm definitely looking forward to this. Be a hell of a pick-me-up. I hope so. The book's a bit of a downer. Honestly, Jack Irons and Steel Cowboy is going to be a bit of a downer. It's about finding your place as a human being in a world of so much darkness, awfulness, and actually having it be real, manifest, and not so much symbolic, implied, and pushed. But I'm hoping folks catch the groove and the wave I'm trying to put out with it. I think it's really, really something to look forward to, especially as we develop the entirety of IronVerse Comics in more of a cohesive, living, breathing universe instead of just a world where Jack lives. Pretty soon it's going to be a world where Jack and Cactus live, and where these elements interact behind the scenes. And as we integrate more characters, hopefully that'll widen. But yeah, I'm hoping as we get to there, it'll continue to be a pick-me-up, and we'll just get better and better. Duskquill also says, still waiting for the other comics I'm supposed to receive, Wanpool, Mythiverse. Wanpool had an update. I don't remember what it was, but they had to push it back a little bit. I know Troy's been digging into Troy Torres, Mr. Marvel, the artist for Wanpool and creator, writer, just the one-man gig. He actually has a pin-up in issue #2's print. Stoked for you guys to see. That's the other thing. I did keep the 6 pinups are still surprises, except to the artists and a few members of Team IronVerse Comics. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited for people to see those too. A lot of it was 6 pieces, and by well, I can actually look. Instead of just trying to pull it off my head, I'll go ahead and look in the issue. It's got a nice little credit page for these wonderful folks who lended their talents, and I can count and tell you how many folks lended their talents. 12 folks. 12 folks between the pinups. There are actually 2 artists who did it from start to finish all themselves. Colors, inks, pencils. And there were 2 teams of 3. And there were 2 teams of 2. Very cool. I can't wait for folks to see that. You'll start seeing a lot of you folks will be aware of their work too, which I'm excited to be able to say. So Yeah, I'm really excited to get Wampool. Of course, I'm blown away. I bought the digitals if possible. Read it, love it. See the work in progress of number 2, and it looks great. Um, and I gotta have my Wampool. Um, and the Mythoverse, I'm super excited for, of course. They have a bit longer of a road, I think, to fulfillment than Wampool. But I can't speak for those teams. But I am excited to get the books myself. I was super stoked to back them, and excited to see those folks successful and getting their works out there. I'm gonna ask a quick question before I get to your first question there, Gorgonite. Is my audio fine? Is the music intrusive? That kind of thing. Of course, I can't hear myself. I'm trying to keep the music pretty low so it's not intrusive, but I do want my voice to be clear. So I'm hoping that's coming through. If anybody can give a thumbs up or a yeah or maybe no, I can't hear you. What the hell are you saying? I have no clue, and that'll tell me some things. So give me a gauge. So anyway, I'll shoot that out. You folks respond as it were. I'll go on to Gorgonite's question. How different was the whole development process between Jack 1 and Jack 2? Well, with Jack 1, it was a lot more of... I kind of forced it to happen best I could, and I really lucked out on meeting an artist who was in town from another country at the time, and was having a good vibe, his art style being something I was really interested in, and his rate being something I could do, which was a hell of a gift. And so we worked together in the line art, and that took quite a time. That took I would say about a year to produce that first issue, line art wise, because of the rate, it was kind of an in between project for him, and me learning how to try and figure out how to letter, so I could do the writing style I wanted to do, which is I give him the script, and then he adapts it to his art, and then I adapt the script to his art. So I had to figure that out, and I did it. The lettering was pretty bad, so he did the lettering, and the language barrier showed up with edits, but it was there. It was done. We did a comic. It's readable. It looked good. I was happy. But Jack was always so much more to me, so I never really wanted to let it sit there. So it took a while. I had another thing in life to put my energy to for a few years, and once that disappeared, that changed. Then I needed to find another goal, and I had this comic almost done. Decided to start really pushing it towards trying to get it published. Sent out to all the major indie publishers I could find out. Not a professional presentation. I probably didn't do it the best way I could have, but didn't get any responses except for one guy who was kind of nice and he at least enjoyed the read. I appreciated that. And eventually I just said, screw it. If I can get the funds, I can do it. So how am I going to get the funds? And, I looked into crowdfunding. I tried an Indiegogo in like January or something last year. And that ran for a couple months and got $10. And of course the $10 was refunded. It didn't finish. And then by the end of that, I tried again, and the timing was right, and I had actually joined social media that time to try and push it, because I'm a big privacy advocate. I tried my damnedest not to have to join these privacy suckers. And sadly, all magic has a price. And so this so far has been worth that price, even the trouble and the social, cultural headaches. Still totally worth it. But then that took, marketing and such. I had a whole issue to point people to, which was nice. They knew the line art was done on one of them. My goal is just to fund a digital issue number 2. And that's how the campaign started. The campaign's a whole nother thing. I've written an article on a while back, and I'll probably do it again here soon for Wicked Magazine. Kind of a recap with Jack number 2 finally finishing up. Probably not this first issue, but if they make a second issue, I'll probably get a good article in about that. And I'll probably have more to say because of Cactus Coyote at that point too. Um, so that part of it, while running Issue 1's campaign, Wicked Publishing discovered me and gave me the option of physical prints without me having to fund them or work them into the campaign. So that was a huge boon, and I was able to pivot the campaign towards selling physical, which exploded it. Got it picked up. The awareness of it was a lot bigger at that point. And then a colorist found us and wanted to do a test page for free, and it was fucking amazing. His name is Matthias Laborde. He's worked for Boom Studios and a few others. Extreme talent. He colored our issue number 1, and I couldn't be more grateful. It's a beautiful issue. It has extreme talent. Sadly, in the time in between creation of issue 1 and issue 2, he had to depart due to personal financial issues and couldn't stay on the project, so we had to pivot. And that's a whole nother story, too. This whole campaign, it had a lot of adaptations to make happen, and is still having these adaptations happen. It's a very patchwork campaign. It's not streamlined. It was not orthodox. It was very... I don't think anybody else but IronVerse Comics could have pulled off a campaign quite like this. But we did, and soon we'll be able to say successfully. And so, honestly, that whole thing didn't translate over to issue 2. Issue 2, it was from beginning to end, trying to get pages in as quick as possible. There were some vacations that were taken that I didn't particularly like, but how it was and scheduled. People have to live their damn life and enjoy what they're doing, so, give and take. A lot more bumps. There was a more sense of urgency trying to get issue number 2 out. Maxie's line art, it's about 4 years of difference, so issue number 1 and issue number 2, they have, you can tell it's the same artist, but the refining of technique and the letting go of a lot of realistic bits is very noticeable in issue 2, which actually serves its purpose much better than I think the style of issue 1 would have served issue number 2, just because of the set pieces, the action, the emotion that needs to be displayed, all of that. It would have been good. The art for issue number 1 is freaking amazing. It's gorgeous. But it wouldn't have been what it is. And I'm really excited for people to see that, notice it, and see how they take it. It's also going to be a evolution of writing talent between 1 and issue. Hopefully I got better, and hopefully I can intrigue you folks more. And since it's a similar kind of a flashback story kind of tale, kind of an adult fairy tale, just like issue 1, hopefully they'll blend together very well too. If we do a trade paperback or something, I might relabel 1 as 0 and 2 as 1. It's possible to start off on issue number 2 thematically. You'll just miss 1 or 2 references, and they're not even hard references that are necessary to understanding what's going on in the book. So I'm hoping to keep that also consistent between each issue. You have some fun self-contained bit, but it's building this world, building this story for you. It's different. There's a lot. Issue 2 is harder. Issue 2 is harder as it should have been, and it still has a few more bumps. All right, more questions. Thank you all again for being here. You're fine. Okay, cool. Thanks. The vocals are good. Thank you so much, both of you. Only gonna be sticking around for around half an hour. Got a game going on. Tonight's game is a game that I've been falling in love with over time. Right on, Duskquill. It's cool. Thank you for showing up. Let me try and answer your question. Maybe you aren't gone yet, but maybe you'll watch it later, or maybe somebody else will get some value out of your question. How likely are we to find the very tropey Western scenarios for Jack to get involved in? We already got the bar fight, but we're going to get other spaghetti goodness. Yes, there's Wandering Alone in the Desert in issue number 2. There's something that could be equated to a horseback shootout. Equated is not as apt as I'd like it to be. It's loosely, you could say that. You could argue it almost with the wording of the. It's a fun page. I'll just tell you that, it's a fun page. And other tropes, I don't know. the main trope again is a drunk guy telling this unbelievable story at some sci-fi bar that somehow makes the story slightly more believable, but hopefully still leaves you with this air of, is he just talking out his ass? Issue number 1 kind of tries to put that away with that bar fight. You know, he puts down, he stops talking, and he deals with something in front of him. Issue number 2 has less of that. But yeah, I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping folks like it. I don't think the tropes are too heavy. I try not to hit the tropes. I was just really trying to communicate a mood, a world, and a very light tale that's working into a very bigger one. Bar fight was one, and there's kind of a horseback shootout, and there's walking alone in the desert. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's much more. It's going to give issue number 2 is going to give you much more of a Mad Max vibe, and you folks will see that. Kind of like Mad Max meets Lord of the Rings kind of a vibe. You'll see as you read it. It's I'm hoping it does for westerns what One Piece did for the pirate genre. We'll see though. Oh, you're gonna have to deal with a tornado in 20. Make sure you tie yourself to the mast and ride it out, brother. No, but all my love, man. Best of luck with the tornado. I'm glad I'm up in the mountains. You don't have to tangle with tornadoes. They can't climb mountains. It's very rare. We've had one, but it has to form in the valley, and it's very, very unlikely. My robot says go and buy our merch. I agree wholeheartedly with our shillbot. So go do that. Go buy some merch. Some very cool images from some very killer indie artists, and it does go to support the channel. Goes to support IronVerse Comics, the creation team, and help spur us into further creation and further spreading. Gorgonite wishes you, Duskquill, to rest in peace. I assume you just kind of hold your head between your knees and breathe really fast until you pass out, and then you'll ride it out, or you'll wake up somewhere else. One tornado can ref out. I dealt with hurricanes with bigger balls. It's true. I don't have to deal with hurricanes either. Thank God. Not near the coast. We don't have to deal with the water and the aggression there. Let's see. I've been on a half hour. Got a couple good questions. I kind of covered the bases I want to. If there are more questions, I am happy to stick around for another half hour. Otherwise, I can call it, make this one a real quick live stream update. I don't have much else to say. Hopefully, I'll have more on the next set of updates. Something on the printing and shipping time to you folks. But we're one step closer. The book actually exists in some form. And the one freaking error that it has that's a printing error is already being covered. It was covered before it got to me, which is great. Let me see. Let me go down. Gorgonite has another question. Of course you do. Thank you so much. Any advice on how to work with an artist in regards to comics? Be it a full-on comic or just a strip? So, I've seen both schools of thought of this in action now. And they both have your value. And there's actually an infinite amount of shades of these two schools of thought, so you're going to have everything in between. But one is you let your artist roam free with your script and put themselves into it as much as possible, and then you judo that into something that's both your work again. That's what I do. But there's also the DC Comics way where you give somebody a script and they adhere to that script. That's usually for more established pros who know what they're doing and don't need to bounce off so much, but there's still going to be give and take in the script as the artist does it. And my hope is most writers and creators who are working with an artist understand how valuable the artist as a person and as an artist is to the project, even outside of what they want the project to be, what the creator, writer wants the project to be. I found that very much with Jack. Every page, every panel, rework, every move, every additional panel, every cut panel that Maxi did, every reworked into a double spread. Everything benefited the book and made a much better piece for me to write onto. But some folks are just that good. Grant Morrison, his scripts were very tight. People had to work very tight to his work. There's a few others like that. I'm unsure what much more to say on that. I prefer the modified Marvel method, kind of how I do it. JMD Matisse, one of my favorite comic personalities on Twitter, and just overall very friendly, upbeat fellow with great information, some fun esoteric stuff too, in relation to comics. But he said that it might be the most important thing to a project is the writer-creator chemistry. And I wouldn't argue with that for a second in my experience so far. But some folks are real tight. I know also the Rags guys are a little bit tighter. Luigi, the artist, gets some leeway, but it really has to match what the other guy from Rags wants as the main point of the panel. Whereas me, as long as the message of the page is conveyed, I'm happy. The panel to panel don't matter so much. But I can see how it benefits the Rags book to have that approach. Cactus Coyote, while doing the pages and having them set up, he kind of shoots them by me and such, and shows me how he's working with his artist, and he's much more particular on the elements on the page as well, trying to define a very specific mood or make something visually interesting. Whereas with me and Jack, it was me, Jack, and Maxie and Jack. It was more of an interplay. As long as what he gave me was something visually interesting and I enjoyed to look at, I didn't mind tweaking things. Because he does still keep a story flow between the panels. It's not breaking the story I gave him. It's like any verbal tradition, it mutates and changes as it goes from storyteller to storyteller. And this is going from script storytelling to artist storytelling back to me storytelling. And I find that a lot of fun. I find that the best way. And I've spoken to other artists that I'm working with, and a lot of them also prefer to have a feeling that their input matters to the page. It gives them a lot more of a sense of involvement with the page, and that it's not so controlled and tight that they're having a harder time wanting to work through. So I find that important too. Let's see. And on a strip, I've never worked on a comic strip. I am working on a couple 8-page mini comics, but I would assume it's a very similar thing. Maybe even easier. I would want a cartoonist in a comic strip, for instance, to be real playful, and so. To allow that play to actually translate to the page, I'd assume you don't want to be a panel Nazi, a very strict writer creator. But again, there's artist combinations that work very well under that clash, and it's really up to publishers and editors to make sure that the best work is created, however the dynamic is being created. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, Duskquill, do you have any plans with con visits? I know the Mythoverse has been trying to be on top of that somewhat, but do you have anything? Loose discussion with Wicked about doing a New Mexico, the Santa Fe Comic-Con in October, and maybe the Albuquerque Comic-Con in January, but just loose talks. I want to be there, and we should have books to sell, so I should be able to be there. But until we actually have those talks in place, I can't really guarantee that. And I know a lot of people aren't in my state, so they're not going to see me anyway. But I am looking forward to that kind of experience, being able to directly interact with people and literally sell them a book face-to-face and talk about the work face-to-face and leave that impression. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Mexico is a very much artist-centric state, and there's a lot of cool interactions that could occur that I'm looking forward to. Okay, Gorgonite Emissary asks, before Jack Irons and the IronVerse? Were there other projects you had or still have in mind? Not really. There was the first comic strip I wrote, which was a Marvel crossover event. About 3 or 4 issues I got into it before I got bored. It's got a really cool opening I really like, but the rest of it's bullshit. I barely read comics, so I didn't really know much about the characters, how to define them, or to play them. But very cool opening with Doctor Doom being assassinated by Nick Fury, possibly. In Latveria as he's giving the speech. It's a very cool scene. But yeah, the rest of it's probably pretty shit. And after that, I just wanted to make a heavy metal Justice League, and IronVerse Comics is the little seedling that came out of the idea of doing that. Jack Irons was the first, most interesting idea for me. The immortal man with the memory of multiple reincarnations. I find that a lot of fun to explore. Allows me to take it into a philosophical piece, which is kind of where I sit most days. But the other titles are a lot of different things. Cactus Coyote, for instance, I always wanted an alien in this team, and I couldn't figure out how to integrate it. I had a couple ideas. It was basic. I never really dove into it. But then found Dollar Coins, and he's been the co-creator of IronVerse Comics basically since we met. Really building out the space and the politics and the things that will make IronVerse Comics unique and stick into people's mind and make it feel breathing. That's very much Dollar Coins. So I'm proud to unveil that with Cactus Coyote. End of the month. Starting to see if anybody wants it. End of the month. And then there's Lady Silverado. The original idea was the Silver Soldier. It was a different kind of, more Winter Soldier-y vibe when I came up with it, but we've tweaked and adapted that, and I'm really happy with the 8-page mini script I have ready. That's sitting with the artist who kindly is lending his talents, Carl Rowe. So I'm excited for that. Golden Monk. There's each of these projects I'll roll out as they roll out. I'm very excited with the talent attached. I'm very excited to get everything out. I'm just excited. But really, other projects I don't have too much in mind. I've done a few crossover scripts with Jack and others. There's 2 or 3 of them I really wish could have had something about 3 or 4 pages long. They're romantic. I liked it. First time I kind of written romance or kind of putting a heart into something, and I think they're really fun. But I don't know if those will ever see the light of day. Really, I haven't done too much else. I've been asked. I've done short stories for Ashcan Publishing too. Third one I've done is coming out here pretty soon in their Dead or Alive anthology. But I've also done all of those in IronVerse Comics. They all take place in that universe. I'm really putting a lot of bets in IronVerse, and we'll see if other people enjoy it. I'm hoping so. I don't really have much else. All of it I've tried to build into IronVerse. You get a footing, and you pivot, and you grow your grounding. If you try to just poke a bunch of pinholes, you're gonna hit something good, I hope, but you won't have the footing once it hits. That's kind of what we're trying to do. I don't know. One day at a time, folks. One day at a time. I'm just happy to have that goddamn proof in hand finally. I tell you. Oh man. Let's see. Would Cactus Coyote be in Area 51 just chilling out? Nah, man, he's a coyote. He'd be smuggling Kyles in and out of Area 51 so they can grab their alien friends and go chill out and go get the 444 at Wendy's or whatever. Those memes have been so entertaining this last couple of weeks. Or the last few days, anywho. I've been really noticing them. There's some really good memers out there on this one. Entertaining as shit. Duskquill, you have too many projects in mind. Everybody knows that already. You can't have too many. You just have too many if you're putting your energy into each one only slightly. You gotta dive into one to make it happen. And then you have room to dive into another one later. But yeah. focus allows manifestation, in my humble opinion and experience. Gorgonite, same. Gorgonite tried to prioritize what I kind of just said. Right on. Yeah, that's what I find. Focus and hard work equals manifestation. Yeah, exactly. I was with you, Dustquill. I was gonna do one where it's one of the shots of Jack at the bar with all the aliens hanging out. It's like when all the Kyles want to show up to Area 51, but you've been there for a year already. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. I actually appreciate that one a lot. It's been a while since we've had one so prevalent that's taken hold and makes social media fun. It's very rare, and I'm happy to see that one. That was goofy as shit, and I love it. Let's see. Boop-a-doo-doo. Somebody tagged me. Oh no, somebody. Oh, thank you, Gorgonite. You were just tagging motherfuckers to come see it. Well, thank you very much. See if I can get another almost 20 minutes out of this stream. Out of that. Thank you. Let's see. Not going up. Good. Our letterer finally saw I got the proof. That's good. That's good news. Yeah. Okay. That's just talk. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm here. I don't have a drink tonight either, folks, so I can't pivot to that and let you listen to music instead of my John, but deal with it. Gorgonite, since Jack irons and buys humanity, does that make him the only and ultimate meme lord of the future? He would be the most unappreciated meme lord of the future, yeah. They didn't quite get internet. They didn't quite go Skynet. You'll see in issue number 2 kind of a little bit of how history unfolded. By 1995, everybody was starving to death and waiting in food queues to eat each other, Soylent Green style. So memes were more what they've been for most of history, which is sigils and stories, short stories. But yes, Jack would be, no question. He's the only person who really remembers anything from before the fall of man. At least somewhat. He's one of only a handful, and most of them are somehow supernatural beings. So if you want to count them or not, it's up to you. Let's see. If there's Kyle's there, they should go sell Monster Energy drinks, but disguise the monster icon and name for something alien related. Yeah, the monster icon is Hebrew for 666. So, yeah, something 666 but an alien, sure, why not? Again, go buy some merch. Thank you, Shilbot. Check out the Cactus Coyote manga for free. Indeed, the full Western comic adaptation of that manga is coming July 29th. And it's not the full. It's not going to cover everything that manga covers, and it's going to be a pivot. It's going to look different. It's going to feel a little bit different. But the manga is the full pitch of Cactus Coyote to folks. And if you read it and enjoy it, you'll enjoy what we're working towards in the future. Damn, he didn't have a chance to absorb the various internet cancers. This is true. The cancers that everybody else was getting were quite literal. Quite literal. Very awful things. Again, issue number 2, folks. Anybody who supported it or can get it later, thank you so much for reading it. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts. God damn it. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for people to read this for a really long time. Issue number 3 is actually already with Maxie, but we'll see how quickly I actually roll that out. I really want to have a better footing on our fulfillment and just our delivery schedule. But we'll see. But yeah, most of the internet was not there, so books are a big deal in Jack's time. What's left? And not many. The reservation probably ends up burning most of those books that are smuggled in. So yeah, it's a reservation on what would be defined even in 40K a hell world. So Warhammer 40K. You can get a vibe of what Earth is like, kind of like that. And it started in the 90s, and the big shit hit what would have been Y2K. All right, thank you, Dust, for showing up. You take care, brother. Have a good one. Enjoy your game, and don't get blown away by tornadoes. Again, go ahead, head between your knees, breathe really fast, hyperventilate until you pass out, and it'll be gone before you know it. Let's see, 13 minutes. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna actually. Let's skip a little bit into that. Yeah. A little more. Turn it up a little bit. And I will take a breather. It's only going to be a minute. Not a long breather. And I'll be right back with you folks. If anybody has any questions to help pad this out, I appreciate it. If you don't, I'll be here talking to myself and enjoying every second of it. Thank you so much for joining me on the IronVerse Comics live stream AMA and update on issue number 2. And I'm fucking stoked I was able to give some slightly good news that I've seen and hold and possess an issue of Jack Irons number 2. And it's on its way to you, kind folk. I'll be right back, hopefully to answer more questions or to, I don't know, other things to talk about out there. See where it goes. Thank you so much. Alright, I'm back. Alright, Gorgonite Emissary. Have you ever considered doing a Rags style promotion? What characters would you have Jack cosplay as? That's funny, I don't know if Jack's got an iconic look without his hat and scarf, you know, the Marble Man look. Kind of Jack's shtick. Heavy metal Marble Man. So you take him out of that, unlike Regina, who's very iconic down to the skin, and that was on purpose, I'm sure. Even why they chose Liz Finnegan. I'm very impressed with how oh god, was Team Ninja Corps. Trent Luther, the other guy, Luigi Terrell, and the wonderful colorist, how they go about getting awareness, promoting the books. Some of it I'm not on board with 100%, but lately it's been a lot less of not being on board. It's just fine. It's some fun stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jack he doesn't have, when you define a face like they did, you know, getting someone and using their portrait, the face becomes more iconic. Whereas with Jack, you'll see even between issue 1 and 2, we've tried to. We want it to be it's not so defined, so more people can latch onto him. Not that defining it doesn't allow you to latch onto a character. That's all up to the writing, the story, and how you present it. What it is, though, is I don't know. I think that's part of Jack. Is he's got a fluid appearance, and it'll allow more people to give him the grace of living as different people. I hope. Thank you. Yeah, I turned that shit down. Hopefully you heard the first bit of that. Apologize for that. But yeah, Jack has a less defined look than Regina, so it's harder to pull off a cosplay and still be like, That's Jackass. You could do it as long as you kept the hat and scarf, I guess. So you could do some fun stuff with that. But I also think the male demographic is harder to market like that. But I'm sure it's not impossible, and I'm sure it can be done very well. I'm just not sure we're the guys to do it. But that's the rags model is very it took a lot of ingenuity to come up with, and a lot of chutzpah to follow through and continue and adapt. I'm impressed. The second project that's coming up that he's been leaking a little bit of, Mr. Lister, Sister Fister. He's going a similar approach. Similar. Instead of the Gingerarchy, instead of Liz Finnegan, it's Autumn Ivy, another wonderful human being. And I'm excited to see how that goes through. I like that. That's their team's shtick. I think it's a good shtick. I think it's a very strong shtick. It's hard to knock that loose if it's set right. And the iconic, the ability to make a face iconic because it's connected to a real person who has their own fan base. Living, breathing communication with the project. It was a genius idea. And being able to continually leverage that while still pushing a very interesting way of storytelling that I'm still coming to grips with. I get it, and I get parts of it, but since I'm not immersed in the exact same culture, it's very hard to put it together quickly, to say the least. But once it snaps and you see what they're doing, it's very cool. It's certainly not just another zombie titty book, but if you want another zombie titty book, it'll do you. So don't let that turn you off either. It's the best of both of those worlds. Very impressed with that team. All right. Let's see. That was probably that was a good amount of coverage there on that question. Thank you, Gorgonite. We do have one image that is by Luigi of the Rags team. Thanks to the other guy of the Rags team. That is right there. At least if my timing's right, you're seeing it right there. Crossover piece. I have a modified version with a logo on it. I don't know if it's in here or shows up, but anywho, that was a wonderful little exchange, and who knows what the future holds for that. The Marvel one-to-one universe is a very interesting prospect, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that also develops. The Marvelverse is it's a trip. It's if you look in the indie comic sphere, it's a lot of places. I'm amazed by how much indie creators have been able to get done in a year and form fan bases, creating this new space for unique tales that wouldn't be told anywhere else. A weird Western space opera isn't something you really expect, but we're freaking working on it, folks. We really are. So yeah, thank you all for showing. I could go on. I don't think I'm gonna. There's a lot of other streams probably folks wanna check out. An hour makes it a bit more manageable to listen to, in my opinion. I don't know. Last week's stream was short and it actually got less views, so that was interesting too. I haven't done much promotion during this either, so that's just how it goes. But you know, I'll be on a couple more minutes. Let me know any more questions. Gorgonite, do not feel obligated. I appreciate all of those. That was a pretty damn solid one. Yeah, thank you folks for showing up. Let's see. Again, I guess I can reiterate, start with it, end with it. Issue number 2, print proof in my hands right now. If you've been a backer, the latest update email actually has a spoiler of the comic I have in my hands, literal picture of it. I I didn't want to spoil the insides too much. I've done plenty of that digitally. If folks want to find panel previews and even a full page, they're out there. I've been previewing them for a while, so excuse me. So it's not hard to find them. I didn't need to reiterate that. The pages look good. New color format we tried. That's actually how you're supposed to do a printed comic. Came out really pretty. I'm gonna use the word pretty. It's a gorgeous book. It's Steve Cannon's colors on Maxie's lines is a hell of a combination. I'm so happy to have them on team. Logo redesigned to fit the more Western motif of the cover, and I'm just excited to get it in people's hands. I need people to read this by now. I've read this thing 300-400 goddamn times already. Somebody else please read it. I'm so excited to get other people's thoughts and opinions. I'm very proud of the work. Such a wonderful book. Full of wonder, but also if you have a skewed sense of wonder, a lot of people can use interesting instead, and it applies the darker shades. But you'll see, folks. I hope we did a job worth your backing, worth your continued support, and worth further tales. IronVerse Comics, your universe and multiverse? I don't remember if you said so or not. Well, yeah, actually it is, but there's 3 stages to IronVerse Comics. Stage 1, all the titles, first arcs at least, out. That would establish the game on Earth. Game on Earth may or may not be quote-unquote finished at that point. Stage 2, Team in Space. This stage is our unlimited run. It would go as long as we have tales to tell in the galaxy. Stage 3, which is integrating crossovers. That's the multiverse. That happens some point during Stage 2. I hope that kind of, in my mind, how I see this. That doesn't mean any of this goes like that at all. I'm going to be lucky if Jack gets his first arc printed. We're going to be lucky if Cactus gets funded here soon and is pushed out and people enjoy it enough to get his second issue. There's a lot there. If any of these are actually strike gold, we have a lot of options to just get them done, too. It's a wonderful opportunity the supporters of Jack Irons afforded me and afforded the wonderful folks who have put their trust in what I'm trying to build here. And those folks are talented and they're good people, and I'm very lucky to be able to share a little bit of my silly imagination and my eccentricities with the world alongside them. So in that way, there's Jack. A lot of people want crossovers with Jack, which is just so it's humbling because there are a lot of talented creators. But there's also, you got to establish who the character is before you do that. And issue number 2 takes a big step there. Issue number 3 will take a big step. I think if a crossover feels naturally, we'll figure it out. Feels natural. We'll figure that out because it'll feel right and it'll work out. But if not, it's a while off. The structure of those 3 phases can be different arcs. It can be a lot of different stuff. It depends on how much gas we're able to get to really pop it off. We're not the only only comic universe trying to get off the ground in indie scene. The White Widow universe, which I don't remember what it's called, they were the first I really noticed is trying to push that really hard in indie. Mythoverse, of course, is pushing it. That's in-house with Wicked. I really hope theirs is really focused, and they're a tighter machine than IronVerse Comics. IronVerse Comics is looser than it should be, but with good reason. the focus is very wide, and we're actually getting a lot done anyway. So I think we're fine. I don't want to rant on that. But anywho, multiverse, yeah. Long answer. My hope would be the same bridge that makes the IronVerse, the Four Horrors, is the bridge that allows crossovers. Basically, it would be a IronVerse issue of somebody's comic. That's how I'd want to do it. You'd see how that conceptually would work once you understand how the Horsemen work with issue 2's release. And I really hope you folks enjoy it. Let's see. 8:02, 2 minutes over. That was a wonderful question again. Got me going. Thank you, Gorgonite. I get off on tangents, but a lot to communicate on this project. It means a lot to me, and it's been a long time coming to finish this campaign. And having the physical book in my hand really helps solidify it. As soon as I start seeing other people have it in their hands, that's a success. I hope people enjoy it. If everybody has it in their hands and they end up in half, that's another story. But I don't think that's too likely. It's a good read. I like it quite a bit. All right, folks. I've probably spoke enough on this update. We're gonna try an hour again. Hopefully, this also doesn't get lower viewings. It could. Doesn't matter. I actually tried to promote this one directly to backers also. Haven't seen so much yet. I get off. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't, I bow to your, to your, wordplay there, Gorgonite. Your, I'd say I for words, but, be your ear I'm praising. Good catch that my mind just let slip. I think there's an F word for that kind of slip. Anyway, folks, I love you all. I'm gonna get off before I make a much more of a further jackass of myself. Thank you so much for sticking with us for so long. Finally gonna pay off the first go around. Then we got a second go around with a different team, with a different head, with my assistance and my blessing and my editorial. And I'm super excited for Cactus Coyote. I hope you folks will be too. If you don't know what the hell it is, check it out on Twitter, at Cactus Coyote, or at Coyote Cactus, excuse me. I also post regularly about it. Post about everything IronVerse Comics on my account at Cowboy_Steel on Twitter. It's my most active. It's the platform I understand the most. I try to post updates, Indiegogo will give them to your email, but I also try to repost those on Facebook. I do have a Facebook. Just look up Jack Iron Steel Cowboy. You'll find both the comic page and my personal page there. They're basically the same, and they're both basically just promotional. So if you want the information there and you're on Facebook more, please do that there. The interaction could be there more, and I'm hoping to do that in the future. But it's there. We have a Patreon also. You can get the Cactus Coyote manga for just $1 in digital format. A little bit easier of a read than the Tapas self-published one, which I've made 3 cents in ad revenue off of, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, thank you all for being here. There was a round 2 by Gorgonite. I should check chat more often, but yep. We're going to go ahead and let him have chat there. You folks take care. And it has very much been a long time coming. Issue number 2 coming to your mailboxes soon. Soon, damn it. Thank y'all for coming here. I'll see you on that old dusty IronVerse trail. I guess it'd be rusty, wouldn't it? Maybe that's it. Old rusty IronVerse trail. We'll try it out next time with a bit more practice. Thank y'all. Take care.